EF annual meeting in Davos, but he popped up on the on a like a video chat, and the brother in the UK, forget his name, but I believe his page is Qasad Bayath or Bayachar, which is Mercy to the Elect. He did a video on this, and what he pointed out was that the seal here in the background, as you can see, the American seal of America, which is the eagle, all right? And this seal, for the whole world to see at this World Economic Forum, he popped in and he was given the floor by Klaus Schwab to speak to the rest of the world leaders. This seal has the eagle's head facing the left with the arrows in his claw, which represents war. Okay? Now this seal here, the original seal, if you look up the original seal, if you look it up right now on Google, as a matter of fact, let's look it up. All right? We just type in Seal of America, and the brother did this in his video. You see that the actual seal, the eagle's head is facing the olive branches, which is a symbolism of peace. All right? But in the big seal behind Trump at the World Economic Forum, when he called in, the eagle's head was facing towards the arrows, which represents war. All right? So what was Trump really doing when he popped in at the Davos the way he did and was addressing the world to what he was saying? He's declaring war on the entire planet Earth, and America's going to be at the seat with all the other elites. He's basically putting himself at the table, all right? So let's look. See, this is the guy, all right? This is Nero coming back, all right? And this is the cruel Lord that we've been waiting for. That's going to bring forth the MOTB, all right, which is the mark of the beast. This is him. This is the guy, man. So let's check this video out first. And mind you, again, he's declaring war. This is why this is so visible in the back. All right, this one is the old seal with the eagle facing the olive branches. All right, but he's declaring to the world right now, y'all either gonna pay up, all right? You either gonna come make your product in America, or you gonna pay for having it shipped to America. And he's talking to everybody, allies and all, NATO nations, Canada, all these nations. He's talking to them all. So he's talking real breezy. All right? So let's listen.
The President of the United States.
At the Davos World Economic Forum, President Trump's virtual reintroduction on the world stage.
Come make your product in America, and we will give you among the lowest taxes of any nation on earth.
The president had clear instructions for other world leaders.
If you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply you will have to pay a tariff, differing amounts, but a tariff.
And a list of demands.
Saudi Arabia will be investing at least $600 billion in America, but I'll be asking the Crown Prince, who's a fantastic guy, to round it out to around $1 trillion.
More money, lower prices.
And I'm also going to ask Saudi Arabia and OPEC to bring down the cost of oil.
And a higher spending bar for NATO countries.
I'm also going to ask all NATO nations to increase defense spending to 5% of GDP, which is what it should have been years ago.
While at home on the Resolute desk,
on the world platform, him making all them demands, that's war talk. That's what that is. He said if it's 600,000 or 600 billion, we're gonna just round it off to a trillion. He talking about world domination. All right.
batch of freshly signed executive orders, among them declassifying files on the assassinations of John F. Kennedy, Robert Kennedy, and Martin Luther King Jr.
Right. So he's stirring up all type of things. Everything is being thrown at the people, including the kitchen sink. All right. And this is why we constantly tell you, see, if you rooted in these scriptures, you won't be thrown by everything what he's doing. Because you got Jake reading the files of MLK being messed up in their head when the true prophets been told you MLK was a sellout. Okay? So this is just one portion of it. All right? He declared war against the world right here. Okay? Now, we're going to go here to the White House press conference briefing. This one ain't long. All right? So he made that statement to the world, and now these statements are being made to the American people.
This is not a blanket pause on federal...
Which we all know that Trump put an executive order in to freeze all federal funding, across the board. And she's basically sitting up here finna lie to the people. So let's listen.
Assistance and grant programs from the Trump administration.
Shalakia, let me bring it back so you can.
This is not a blanket pause on federal assistance and grant programs from the Trump administration. Individual assistance, that includes, I'm not naming everything that's included, but just to give you a few examples, Social Security benefits, Medicare benefits, food stamps, welfare benefits, assistance that is going directly to individuals will not be impacted by this pause. And I want to make that very clear to any Americans who are watching at home who may be a little bit confused about some of the media reporting. This administration, if you are receiving individual assistance from the federal government, you will still continue to receive that.
All right. Out of the spokeswoman's mouth, right? Now let's go see what different governors and mayors are talking around the U.S. Babylon the Great. This is Chicago, Illinois. Okay.
And rumors today about the cuts issued by the Trump administration last night to programs that affect average Americans. I have spent last night and today speaking with leaders in Washington, local elected leaders, nonprofit organizations, and my agency heads to make sure that we are doing all we can to stand up for working families and the most vulnerable people in our state who are affected by these cuts. The United States Constitution clearly states that Congress has the power of the purse and sets laws to obligate federal funding for all 50 states. What Donald Trump tried to do in the last 24 hours is illegal. Let's be clear. This is a demonstration of cruelty against people who depend on us.
Let's go back to the scripture. A demonstration of cruelty. Isaiah 19:4. All right? And the Egyptians, all right, in this case, you can replace this with Americans, all right? And the Americans will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. You just heard my man. let's get it. We'll back it up just a little bit. We here, man. No questions of or if, ands, or buts about it. All right? You have local government, state government, all right, officials complaining about what this man is doing. The divide is there.
Trump tried to do in the last 24 hours is illegal. Let's be clear. This is a demonstration of cruelty against people who depend on us. Working families who rely on federal assistance to pay their rent, people who need help paying their utility bills, parents who need critical programs like Head Start for quality, affordable childcare, and 3.5 million Illinoisans who get their health insurance through Medicaid. Despite what the White House press secretary said at the podium earlier, I believe it is my duty to report to you the truth of what actually happened today in Illinois. Donald Trump's administration is lying to you. The White House's attempt to walk back what they did today does not match what we saw on the ground.
Now, let's go back to Isaiah 19. It said, they lying. Let's go to the 14th verse. All right? Isaiah 19 and 14. The Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof. All right? Now, let's look up this word perverse. Because this is exactly what's going on, man. All right? The Hebrew word Ainah or Ainayim, all right? Which means distorting, perverting, or warping, all right? Perversity, perverse. It really don't say much here, but let's look up these words here in the etymon, all right? Which I did, the word distort, twist the true meaning, pervert the truth, all right? Regarding, and what they did, going back to this video, they perverted the truth by saying individuals that's receiving these assistance programs and grants, they still gonna receive it. But we're seeing state politicians of Illinois saying that they lying. Everybody's being affected because we can't access those funds. All right? So the Lord has put that perverse spirit, he has mingled that perverse spirit in Babylon. The presidency over everybody saying that the individuals ain't going to be affected. But now we're seeing state officials saying they're lying. Individuals are being affected. So what do we have? We have a perverse spirit that the Lord has mingled in the midst thereof. All right? That's what's going on. That's what this is, a perverse spirit. All right? So let's listen to some more. Wait, let me see. Did I read that all? Let's go back. Yeah, let's go back. Isaiah 19:14. The Lord have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof. And it's getting ready. You're getting ready to see this place err in every aspect of every facet of this society. All right? As a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. All right? And this is, we finna see America go belly up from the inside out. And it's starting already what these what DJT is doing. All right, so let's go.
They assured us that Medicaid would not be affected. That was a lie. Our state agencies were unable to access the Medicaid system until an hour ago, preventing payments for services. And this has been reported from states across the nation. When we reached out to federal agencies, they informed us that they have been directed not to discuss any guidance with states. They have canceled previously scheduled meetings for this week.
You see, this is that perverse spirit the Lord has mingled. It's over with, man. Just imagine, as the days go on, it's going to get worse and worse. All right?
The White House assured us that Head Start would not be affected. That was a lie. Providers across the state experienced outages, and some were unable to make their payroll. They assured us that they were doing nothing to take away individual assistance from the most vulnerable people in our state, but they refused to say that they would restore LIHEAP, the Low-Income Housing Energy Assistance Program, payments to support the unemployment system, and Meals on Wheels. These are programs that hundreds of thousands of Illinoisans depend on: children, seniors, veterans, working parents. Let's just be clear about what happened over the last 24 hours. At 7:42 p.m. last night, we saw a memo from the White House saying that they were pausing federal funding across the board. This morning, along with all 50 states across the country, we discovered that our ability to access critical federal funding had been cut off. And now the administration would like us to believe that these were just coincidental website outages. Donald Trump and his administration have not earned the benefit of the doubt. They are either lying to us or they are critically incompetent. This is what happens when you staff the federal government full of Project 2025 contributors that don't have any experience governing and don't think that the laws apply to them. The consequences of their actions are not hypothetical. They are not numbers on a spreadsheet. These are real people, ordinary Americans struggling to afford groceries, rent, and health care. Donald Trump promised to lower prices for average Americans his first week in office. Name one thing that he's done to accomplish that. Prices have gone up, not down. Let me say this in no uncertain terms. What the president is trying to do is illegal. Let me say that again. What the president is trying to do is illegal. I know these are challenging times, and the Trump administration is trying to confuse the American people. That's why it's so important that we speak plainly.
Hey, the scriptures speak about great confusion. We're going to come back to this too. All right. But it just came to mind right now. 2 Ezra 16 and 21 says, Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in a good case. All right. And right before this man was sworn in, inaugurated, the day of, people were thinking America was finna be saved, this, that, and the third. But as soon as them executive orders got to getting signed, there's been nothing but turmoil and chaos. All right? Again, so it says, Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in a good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. And this is, man, the scriptures ain't never lied, man. All right? The confusion is about to be massive. It's already on a level of being massive. Okay? You hear my man what he talking about. He said this administration is confusing the American people. No, he ain't. He doing exactly what he said he was gonna do. And he's doing exactly what the scriptures say he was gonna do. Or he's bringing in the prophecy of what the scripture said would be happening. All right?
I know these are challenging times, and the Trump administration is trying to confuse the American people. That's why it's so important that we speak plainly. I was very happy to hear as I entered this room today that an administrative stay has been granted. Let me assure you, the state of Illinois will fight this unlawful order with everything we have. We're working with the Attorney General, who has moved forward with other states to continue pursuing legal action to protect the people of Illinois.
You know how the scriptures speak about kingdom against kingdom? Let's get that in the book of Matthew 24. Let me type that in. Each state is like it's like its own nation, okay? And we're getting ready to see this happen. Matter of fact, Isaiah 19:2 as well. It says, "And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians." All right, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. This is the start of it. What we're seeing because of this cruel Lord. All right. Matthew 24:7. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. All right. Each state is like a nation in Babylon. All right. Trump declared war at the WEF on all them nations. Now you're starting to see reports of the nations all gearing up to be against America. All right? Because they know what Trump owns. Okay? And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. And these things still coming. All right? The Lord has made the perfect recipe of destruction. And we're seeing it cook. All right? Mark 13:8, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginnings of sorrows, and this is where we at. We're getting ready to see a lot of weeping and gnashing of teeth, and I got some videos of a couple of them, all right? A couple of Idumeans weeping and gnashing of teeth, all right? So let's go back. We got a lot to get to.
Last November, on the day after the election, I made a promise to the people of Illinois. When it comes to threats to our freedom, health, or security, if you come for my people, you come through me.
Now, this is the same one, but then he brings up Lieutenant General Juliana Stratton, and this is what she has to say.
Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton.
Hello, everyone. I am deeply disturbed by the actions that bring us together. The Trump administration has made an unquestionable declaration of where their values lie. This is an attack on the nation's most vulnerable populations to cut seniors off from food or strip access to health care from critical patients.
That cruel Lord, okay? That cruel Lord, hard, severe, right?
Is a display of cruelty driven by the values of this new administration. If it feels like you are being asked to subscribe to a nation fueled by hate over hope and retribution over problem solving, you are not imagining things. Whatever you are feeling right now is justified. And because the actions taken today do not respond to the very real needs of everyday Americans, you're going to hear a lot of noise. Hear me when I say, no amount of backpedaling can override the truth